we're still doing faux glaze with Vintage Market Design Clear Glaze. It's the new product that is water-based, low VOC. You mix it with the chalk-based paint and use any color to get an effect that you want. Now you can really custom design your furniture in your interior spaces. We've got a cabinet door here that has been painted with peacock, one of my favorite colors, and it's been distressed, which is fun. You can see the edges are raised, and I would be willing to bet they did wet distressing on this because it doesn't look tortured, it doesn't look like it's overdone, it's just very natural. So we're going to do some fun stripes and striations on this just so that you can see how that's done. I like to use the blue painter's tape, but the one that's more sticky, there's a painter's tape that's blue that has the orange inside the packaging, and that one is more delicate, which is great if you're doing very fine finishes, but to get a clean line like on a stripe, I like this one because it adheres more. So what I'm going to do is just kind of be loose and casual here with my stripes. I'm not going to measure them. You can if you are so inclined, but I'm just going to do mine loose. And I'm just doing the center panel of this cabinet door. So end up with 3 strips of tape. And I want to go back and burnish them and make sure they're really sticking. That middle one's a little crooked, so maybe I'll move that over a bit because I don't want my stripes to be crooked. Which is easy to do with this. There we go. And then I'm going to take off the edges to make sure I don't have any bleeding around the outside. This is fun to do on a wall. I can tell you it takes a little bit of measuring, but gosh, you get a really dramatic effect, and everybody wonders how you did it. It's also nice to do tone on tone when you're doing stripes. So for instance, if you're doing your wall color in sand and then make your glaze with taupe or burlap and do it on top, and it's just very subtle, and ooh, what a classy look. Same thing with all the whites. You can do dove with an antique stripe on it. Really beautiful. And I've got a little area that I'm short, so I'm going to cover that. Again, a real good burnish. Because you don't want the glaze seeping under. You can fix it. If it does, I would just go back with more peacock and a very small brush and touch it up. But if you can keep from doing that, all the better. So I've already mixed up a glaze here with the clear faux cream and lace, which is kind of a creamy white with just a touch of yellow in it. So I'm going to go over my stripes, and I like to do a pouncing motion, because if you drag your brush, then there's more likelihood that the paint's going to get under the tape. So if I pounce it with the brush at a 90-degree angle, it's not as likely to get under there, and it's kind of nice, the pounced effect that it makes. And I like to go in a couple directions. You don't want it to be too uniform. It's kind of boring. If you look at painted furniture, the pieces that we're drawn to are the ones where you can tell that there was a human hand involved, and it's got a little bit of character and a little bit of irregularity. Don't get too caught up in making it perfect. It won't be as pretty if you do. Okay, that's it. And so I'm going to go ahead and, ideally I would wait and let this dry, but for purposes of the video, I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape. Oh yeah, we've got some clean lines. This is the fun part. Just imagine these stripes on a drawer front or top of a dresser. So cute. Okay, so I've got just one place where it had some bleeding right here. I'm going to let that dry. If I try and wipe it off, I create more of a headache for myself. So I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to take that little R95950 brush that they sell at Vintage Market Design. It's a teeny brush with about 20 hairs. I'm going to go in and clean up that line. The rest of it's fine, and it's good to go, and we'll clear coat it. Okay, I'm going to show you one more way to do stripes with the faux glaze and paint recipe from Vintage Market Design Furniture Paint. We just did this cabinet door using blue tape to get some pounced stripes, and there's another way you can do stripes. So I'm going to use my same glaze that's 75% clear faux glaze and 25% lace paint, and I'm going to go through the perimeter here and just loosely brush it on and get it in the recessed areas. I'm only going to do two sides because the glaze does dry fairly quickly and you don't want to get caught with it setting up on you. You want to be able to have open time for it to do what it's supposed to do. So I'm only going to do the two sides. And I'm going to use this tool from Vintage Market Design, which is a really fun striae. Now this is not going to give you a perfect linear stripe like we would get with tape, but it's just something more kind of loose and fun. And I like to kind of jiggle my fingers and my arm when I do it to get a loose stripe. I would call this kind of a boho finish. You could do this with, just think all the fuchsia colors and the reds and the bright greens and the teals, and you could really do something fun and have panels with this, and then maybe some panels with some stencil paisley, and just let your imagination go. And I love using this on this curved surface because it's rubber and it moves around and it's flexible and it gives me some room to move. Now I'm just going to go around the edge and wipe this off to make it nice and clean before I hit the other two sides. Do these two. Move this around. I really like this glaze. It has good open time, it's got nice translucent qualities, and it just moves the way you want it to. There's some on the market that are kind of difficult. This one is not. A little splatter there. Just clear that up. Usually when I'm working, I keep a damp rag with me all the time because you never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to offload this striae tool so I don't gum up the new edges. And again, just back and forth, kind of wiggly. Maybe it's good to have too much coffee when you do this. We like to do some pieces that have a bunch of different colors on them and stencils, and I just think this is something that would work in very well with that. Or even if you have a motif that's kind of an ocean thing, this almost looks like water. You could do something in a bathroom. Let your imagination go. Get that edge kind of working in there, and bam. There you go, a new boho finish with stripes and striaes, and it took maybe 15 minutes.